Alright guys, so in this video what I'm going to do is talk about the Stream API which has been introduced as part of the Java 8 package in March 2014, somewhere around there. Very new to most individuals. So one thing that I wanted to do is quickly have an introduction on why we're using Stream APIs in the first place. I thought the best way to do that is to have a reference point on what we would typically do in a Java 7 situation. So a stream APIs are really focused on sorting and manipulating and ordering as such of particular collections. So when we say a collection, we're talking about hash maps, hash sets, array lists, priority queues, all those sort of stuff. Probably the most common one is a list. So again, keep things pretty simple. What I'm going to do is create a list. So students equals new array list. And within here, oh, yeah, that looks good. Probably have to import array list as well. Okay, so within here, I'm just going to populate a few names. So let's say Daniel. And go quite a few more. Danny, Aaron, Lyndon, Andrew. One more for effect. Stefan. Alright, so typically, if I was to go through each of these lists, I would do a very simple for loop. So for string s and the list of students, I can do sysout of string, and that hopefully gives that a quick. So very simple for loop. It will go through all the items that I put into a list. Very simplistic. Just open up these parentheses. If I wanted to manipulate a list in its current for loop status, I have a particular issue. So I can do if S contains, let's say, Lyndon. I could say student dot remove S. When I click that though, I will get a check co-modification error, which basically means I'm trying to modify the list, but I'm basically messing up in the background all the literated objects that you don't typically see. So you wouldn't do a for loop to then start removing each of the items. One thing you would do to counter that is create a literation and then go through like a while loop. So literator string it1, let's say students iterator. Doesn't like that because I need to import it in. Alright, so once I have a literator, I can then start doing a while loop. So while the iterator has a next value, do whatever's in here. So if I was to have the same concept here, so it's a one next contains Lyndon, then remove, it's probably not that, it's probably remove. So if I run that, because I haven't removed that one. Once I run that, I don't get that particular issue. I can start removing and adding items into my list that doesn't manipulate the literated objects in the background. So if I was to add remove, I would have to do a while loop. This, however, I have to go through every item. So typically you would have this as next and then the next item there. So if I was to remove Lyndon, let's say, let's just move this down. So probably don't need that. Make it all nice and tidy. If I run that, you can see that it's actually removed Lyndon object out of that array list. So that all works. If I was to, let's say, do a collection. So if I wanted to sort these names together, not a problem. Collectors sort, I believe. Yeah. Sort of students. And again, this is what you typically do in Java 7. What I'm just doing is going through the process on how you would typically do that. So once it comes back, it's put them all in a particular order. This is my end result that I want to say, right, if Lyndon's in this student group, remove him, sort all the students out, and then for each of them, print it out. That, however, is quite a lot of code to do something very simple. Furthermore, there isn't any correlation or any link between going through this literation and then going through the second for loop, or the second literation, which is the for loop. So what Java has introduced is the concept of a stream, whereby it will take this list and make it into elements for it to then start doing all fancy operations onto it. So let's say students. Actually, let's this out. Oh, probably not in the main class. Let's move that down. What am I doing? This out. Just make a line in the sand. Make sure that runs. Okay. So the Stream API. What I can do is first of all collect the list of string objects, and then introduce a new method called stream. And if I just go back, so it basically puts the return values from a collection into a sequential elements. So and obviously you can see here it's been here since 2008. So again, still very new. Once I run this method, I'm then opened up to other operations. And again, I've got so many to play with. I don't really want to go through them all in this video, but I will elaborate further in further videos. But one thing I'm just going to do now is basically grab everything I did in the whole in the 1.7 process that I would normally do and put that into a stream, the equivalent of the 1.8. So basically what that meant was I create all the elements, I create all the objects into an element. I then want to say a filter. So a filter is basically just to extract all the ones I don't want or all the ones I do want, etc. So I do want to say, and I will elaborate quickly, this lambda expression that I'm putting in. Lyndon. What did we do then? Sorted. And then for each. So for each, I'll do system.out. Again, another shortcut version, print line. So I'll give that a quick run. Oh. To do it, yeah, not contains. Let's do that. All right. So basically, what we have is the same results that we had before. The Stream API, however, has made things a lot tidier. Furthermore, it's made a link between what I did as a while loop to remove the particular items that I don't want, and then carry on with further operations that I wanted to incorporate. So point number one, it's a lot cleaner. You can see it's basically just a one-liner as opposed to going through alliterators, whiles, and for loops, that sort of thing. Another quick note to note is that a stream can be like a building blocks of a number of operations. What I'll do here is just quickly map these all out. There are two types of operations that are incorporated within the stream. So I'll quickly write them out. So one is intermediate, and the other is a terminal. Intermediate is basically, it doesn't actually return anything. They are essentially the subqueries, I guess, to your final result. Your terminal operator is basically the end result, and obviously nothing else comes after that. So in this scenario, this one's an intermediate, this one's an intermediate, and this one's a terminal. So the for loop is a terminal, sorted is obviously an intermediate, and then a filter operator is classed as an intermediate. One thing to note is you cannot have, once you've done a terminal operation, you can't then start adding in new operators. Once you get to that terminal one, that's it, game over. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers essentially the reason why we have this Stream API. Really two things. One, it's a lot cleaner. Secondly, I can have the link between filters and operations that put them all into one package, and then obviously that will speed up the process as well. So I hope this video helped, and no doubt I will see you soon.